Hello and welcome to another live episode of the Alex Nitzberg Show. I'm Alex Nitzberg and thank you for joining me today for another 3:30 Saturday afternoon live episode. Please don't forget, if you've been enjoying these shows, do them every Saturday at 3:30, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And thank you to the 3 people who already left a thumbs up. I appreciate that. So today I'm going to be discussing a few issues, including the fact that it appears that Ron DeSantis, Florida governor, and the California governor, Gavin Newsom, are poised to have a debate. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about a DeSantis donor who, ironically, apparently, he's donated about $20 million to the Never Back Down PAC, which is backing DeSantis for president. And this donor apparently wants DeSantis to back down, ironically. So I'm going to talk about that. Also, I'm going to talk a little bit about gas prices. Have you guys noticed those going up? I've got some funny memes to show you guys about that. So anyway, thank you for tuning in. Let me switch over here and get started. And don't forget, like I said, please remember to give it a thumbs up if you've been enjoying these episodes. So, first off here, I'm going to start out with the Gavin Newsom, Ron DeSantis debate, which appears that it is going to materialize. This would be moderated, believe it or not, by Sean Hannity, a conservative commentator who's on Fox News channel. So what happened here is Hannity interviewed Newsom a little bit earlier this year, and he asked him about debating DeSantis, and Newsom was like totally like, yeah, I'm in. In fact, he even mentioned he'd been trying to debate him, and I'll show you a tweet from last year where he did indeed, basically talk about wanting to debate DeSantis. So let me show you this clip.
Agree with. I want to start a series of debates and get some of the best, brightest, leading conservative minds and some of the best, brightest left-wing minds or liberal minds. Yeah. And I'd put you in that category. And I want to call it like the great debates.
Love it.
And the first one I want to do is with you and Governor DeSantis.
Great. I've offered it. I've been trying to debate him for 2 years.
Here's how this debate format will go.
Good.
I'll say Governor Newsom, Governor DeSantis, economy. That's the only word I'm going to throw out.
Love it.
You, minute, then you go at it, next topic.
Right.
And I'll moderate it that way, and you have my word, I'll moderate it that way.
I'm all in. Count on it.
You would do a 2-hour debate with Ron DeSantis.
I make it 3.
3-hour debate with
make
so
it.
I hear 4.
And do it with 1 day notice with no notes. I look forward to that. We can talk about his zest for demonization. We could talk about his assault on free enterprise.
And you call him a kidnapper?
I said.
All right, so you see there, Newsom is saying, he'd be up for this debate. And then later, just recently, Hannity was interviewing DeSantis. And DeSantis, when he asked him, would you be willing to debate Newsom, DeSantis said he absolutely would be. So here's that.
You heard Gavin make the offer. Your answer is?
Absolutely. I'm game. Let's get it done. Just tell me when and where. We'll do it. And here's the thing.
So, it looks like that's actually going to be happening. And here is, there's this letter that appears to have been sent from the Newsom camp. And you can see here it's got all these basically proposed criteria for the debate. And it says here that if you look through the thing, it's got, in fact, I think on the other page, it says that there would be no audience, that it would air live on Fox News. It would be 90 minutes, interestingly, because you heard there Newsom talking about, 3 hours, whatever, but on here the proposal is 90 minutes. So, yeah, it looks like that might end up happening. Now, of course, DeSantis is actually, he's the Florida governor, but he's running for president. He's been polling in second place, way behind Trump. So seems, kind of peculiar for the governor of Florida who's running for president to debate another governor who's, not running for president. Now, some people think that Biden's not really going to end up being the nominee and that maybe Newsom will sweep in and become the Democratic nominee. I kind of think Biden's going to end up being the nominee. Now, if Biden dropped out for some reason, then yeah, I think there's a pretty good chance that Newsom could end up being the nominee. But right now, I think, Biden's probably going to end up being the Democratic nominee again. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, you can see all this is some of the stuff from that letter that seems to be from the Newsom camp. And you can see here this tweet here. It says that it was sent last week, and this tweet was sent on August 2nd. So, all right. I mentioned this too. Like, this is from September 2022. Newsom had tweeted and said, he was talking about DeSantis. He said, "Hey, Governor Ron DeSantis, clearly you're struggling, distracted, and busy playing politics with people's lives. Since you have only one overriding need, attention, let's take this up in debate. I'll bring my hair gel. You bring your hairspray. Name the time before Election Day." So he was talking about that. You can see that in almost a year ago, back in September. All right, so then this is other thing, DeSantis really thing I was telling you I want to talk about. So, like I said, Robert Bigelow, he is actually the largest individual donor to the Never Back Down Super PAC, which is a pro-DeSantis group. If I wrote about it earlier this year, Ken Cuccinelli, who actually worked in the Trump administration, was involved in launching this. But this guy, Bigelow, who's donated $20,500,000, I believe, is just slightly over $20 million. He wants DeSantis to back down, basically. I mean, that's basically what he wants. He wants him to moderate his the way he's running. He thinks that he has a problem, basically, with DeSantis signing this measure, which would basically ban some abortions after 6 weeks in Florida. Now, caveat to that, this guy, and I'm going to show you in a second this Reuters article talking about this, he cited that as something that he was not a fan of, DeSantis signing that measure. Now, I just want to mention, it's people describe it as a 6-week abortion ban. It actually has a bunch of carve-outs. It's not as stringent as it sounds. It has carve-outs for this and that, and also it's not even in effect. It's not even in effect in Florida right now. In order to take effect, I believe it's contingent on Florida Supreme Court decisions and or possibly a constitutional amendment to the state constitution. But basically, the point is, it's not in effect right now. Actually, I made a thread about this on Twitter, or X. I made a thread about this if you want to check it out. Here's the thing I'm talking about where I'm saying it's not in effect. Anyway, if you're interested in that, take a look at that. But let me just get into this here. Here is the Federal Election Commission website, and you can see here. I'm looking at the. You can see here. Where is it here? Wait a minute. Is it here? There he is. There it is. Bigelow Robert, Never Back Down Inc. $20,500,000. Okay. Now, here is this Reuters article, and it says here, hotel entrepreneur Robert Bigelow, the biggest individual donor to a group supporting Ron DeSantis' presidential bid, told Reuters Friday that he will not donate more money unless the Florida governor attracts new major donors and adopts a more moderate approach. Down here, it says that, this is a quote, it says from Bigelow, he says about DeSantis, it says, he does need to shift to get moderates. He'll lose if he doesn't. Extremism isn't going to get you elected, Bigelow said in an interview, adding that he had communicated these concerns to DeSantis' campaign. And then the article says, when asked which specific policies Bigelow did not support, Bigelow cited only DeSantis signing in April a bill passed by the Florida legislature banning abortions after 6 weeks, a move that came after Bigelow had donated the $20 million. Like I said, when you look into that bill, it's not as straightforward as just banning abortions after 6 weeks. I mean, it does that, but then there's carve-outs and exceptions and things like that. So, okay, so if you go down here, it says Bigelow said he would not donate more money for now. And it quoted him saying, not until I see that he's able to generate more on his own. I'm already too big a percentage. And he said a lot of his donors are still on the fence. And then down here, I wanted to highlight this section. Where is it? All right, so it says Bigelow said he had told DeSantis' campaign manager, Janera Peck, that DeSantis needed to be more moderate to have a chance. Asked how Peck reacted, Bigelow said, laughing, there was a long period of silence where I thought maybe she had passed out, but I think she took it all in, Bigelow added, describing Peck as a very good campaign manager. So, this guy donates $20 million to back this conservative candidate, Ron DeSantis, who's running for president, and then he wants him to back down. He's donating to the Never Back Down PAC, moderate his position, and basically be less conservative. Why? I mean, clearly, it's a little bit bizarre. But yeah, and ironic. So, also, I wanted to mention here, I'm not familiar with this guy, so I was looking him up and looking at stuff about him yesterday. And apparently, he has this Bigelow Institute for Consciousness Studies. And if you look at it here, they're offering money, they're offering grants, basically for people attempting to do research into communicating with the dead. I mean, look, right here it says, the 2023 BICS grant program, The Challenge, will fund research into contact and communication with post-mortem or discarnate consciousness, also known as the afterlife or the other side, leading to the reception of higher order information of value to humankind, wisdom acquisition, with the allocation of a grand total of up to $1 million in grants. So that's the Bigelow guy who's donating this money to the DeSantis campaign. So that's a mess. But the main point and the main takeaway there is that this guy donates $20 million to this conservative candidate and wants him to moderate. So I hope DeSantis ignores this guy. I hope he doesn't moderate. I hope that he is hardcore conservative and doesn't moderate his positions for anybody. Now, next topic here, and let me know what you think in the comments. A lot of people talk about this whole, you can't be extreme or whatever in order to win. I want someone extreme. I mean, I want an extreme conservative to run for office and win. So, anyway, let me know what you think. Here's another thing here about DeSantis I wanted to mention. He made a really good point on this clip here. Why are there non-essential government workers? It's a good question. Obviously, as a taxpayer, you don't want to be paying for someone to do a non-essential job. But I just wanted to show you this clip here where he was asked about government shutdowns. And
No. I don't buy that.
There we go.
You're a former congressman. If you were currently in the House now, would you shut down the government to cut spending? And would you look into impeachment for Joe Biden?
This spending is out of control, and I think the reason why it's gotten to this point is because Republicans are so worried of, quote, a government shutdown. First of all, the government doesn't actually shut down. They take non-essential workers and then they don't work. But why do we have non-essential workers to begin with? I think it's ridiculous. And, their inquiry into Biden, I think.
So, yeah, it's a good question. Why are there non-essential government workers? And I bet a lot of them, probably not even just the ones that are deemed non-essential. I bet, if I was combing through them, I'd find a lot that are deemed essential that I probably would think are non-essential. But, yeah, Republicans need to have more of a backbone and fight more and need to be more willing to do, government shutdowns and things like that. All right. Now, off the DeSantis thing, Representative Dan Bishop from North Carolina, who is a conservative congressman, has announced that he is not going to run for re-election for Congress, but instead he's going to run to be the North Carolina State Attorney General. So, this is a little bit sad news because, there's not a lot of really conservative people in Congress, and I'm not super familiar with him, but I do know that he was one of the people who was involved in the speakership fight. So he voted against Kevin McCarthy on the first, let me go down here. It was the first 11 rounds of voting. You remember there was many rounds of voting on that. So he voted against McCarthy in the first 11 rounds, and then on the 12th through the 15th rounds, he voted for McCarthy. So, he was one of the guys, one of the people that was involved in that speakership battle, and so he's leaving. So, that's kind of sad. But he is going to be going for the North Carolina Attorney General job. So there's that. Oh, that's news. Also, gas prices. If you drive a car that uses gas, then you've probably noticed the gas prices seem to be creeping back up again. Here's the AAA national average, $3.83. I stopped to get gas a little while ago at a place, and it was about $3.89, so basically $3.90. Unfortunately, like 2 seconds down the road, it was actually cheaper. So I think it was in the $3.70s, so that was dumb that I stopped there. But anyway, whether it's $3.70, $3.90, $3.89, that's all pretty terrible, right? I have some funny jokes here. There's the one meme that says, I checked Kelley Blue Book today for my car's value, and it asked if the tank was full or empty. Yeah, I mean, the amount that, it was about $42, I think, when I filled up the other day, and that was not completely empty. And we're talking about a Honda Accord, so it's not exactly a gas guzzler. All right, and then here's one that said, I just realized the paper towels by the gas pump were for wiping tears after filling your gas tank. So, yeah, sad, but kind of funny. Also, I made this one myself. I have this dollar bill that's got like the corner torn off. So I said, the left picture is your money. The right picture is your money on inflation. Because basically, yeah, inflation is just eating away at the purchasing power of your dollars. And on that topic, just real quick, I will mention, there's a lot of talk about inflation in terms of rising prices. And I would argue that inflation is actually basically creating too much money, flooding the system with money, printing money. And when more money is created, and when there's all this money flooding the system, that causes prices to go up. So I think of inflation more like that. And the reason the prices are going up is because the dollars are worth less, because there's too much money flooding the market and stuff. So that's kind of how I view inflation. And yeah, inflation causes prices to go up, but I wouldn't say that the prices going up is the inflation as much as the cause of the inflation. That's the way I look at that issue. Also, remember last week, if you watched my episode last week, I was showing all this preposterous climate alarmism, including from the UN Secretary General, talking about global boiling, and Hillary Clinton blaming MAGA Republicans for hot weather. Well, here we go. Democratic Representative Ted Lieu from California, I believe, he is blaming climate deniers for hot weather, basically. It says suffering from excessive heat, blame a climate denier. Climate deniers were wrong, scientists were right. You have the power to vote out elected officials who refuse to deal with facts and vote in officials who understand we are in a climate crisis. Well, I'll say again, there is no climate crisis. They keep, people on the left, and like I said, some people on the right promote this climate alarmism. There is no climate crisis. I repeat, there is no climate crisis. They can keep saying there's a climate crisis. There is not. So, yeah. He would call me a climate denier, and in that case, I guess that means that if you're suffering from excessive heat, it's my fault. Well, that's not true, but that's what the left is saying. So, one more thing before I go. If you've been paying attention to what's going on over at Twitter with Elon Musk taking over, he renamed it X. And so it's like, what are we calling these things now? You can see down here, it now says post instead of tweet. And someone said, is this a tweet or an X? And Elon Musk said either an X or a post. So that's going to be a little bit weird because a post is fine. I mean, I think I used to say things like so-and-so, posted a tweet. Well, it's going to be hard to say they posted a post or they X'd a post or they X'd. I mean, it's weird. So I'll probably go with post, but then posting a post is weird. So, but anyway, it looks like the new terminology is an X or a post. And as I close out there, if you are on X/Twitter, please give me a follow over there. I've been trying to build up that over there. And also, if you're on YouTube, don't forget to give this a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching this episode. And like I said, every Saturday at 3:30 Eastern Time, I've been doing these episodes, so you can tune in next week for another episode. And thank you all for watching. And I will see you next week. Have a good rest of your weekend. Bye-bye.